Sounds great. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the 2025 Annual Business Meeting and Awards Ceremony for MPHA, the Minnesota Public Health Association. We're going to start by sort of dividing our time here together into first the annual business meeting and then the awards ceremony right after that. Uh, since we are on Zoom, just a few quick reminders here. Please mute your microphone when you're not talking. It's up to you if you want to have your camera on or not. We are recording this. So, please feel free to consider that. If you're comfortable, also feel free to consider renaming yourself to include your pronouns. I have not done that yet. My name is Kristen Moore. I'm the current president of MPHA, and my pronouns are she, her. I'll do that in a bit. As we go through, please feel free to put your question and comments in the chat. And then I'll just ask somebody to stop me if there are immediate questions. Mary, can I put you on duty? Thank you, since I won't be able to see them while I'm sharing my screen. All right. So as I said, I'm Kristen Moore. I'm your current president, soon to be outgoing president. We have our new president on, and I'll introduce him towards the end of the business meeting section. And then we'll jump into the award ceremony where Jenny will be leading that presentation, one of the awesome members of our leadership committee. All right, so I'm going to start by reading our MPHA Ancestral Land Statement, as we do at the beginning of all MPHA events. We ask that you take a moment to honor and acknowledge that we are on the ancestral homelands of the Dakota and Anishinaabe. Indigenous people have a long-standing history and connection to the land since time immemorial, and are the original stewards of lands and waters. Many American Indians were forcibly exiled from their lands because of aggressive and persistent settler colonialism and U.S. governmental policies, but they persevered. We make this acknowledgement to honor the Dakota and Anishinaabe people, ancestors and descendants, as well as the land itself. And if any of you were lucky enough to be at our annual meeting that was just a couple of weeks ago, we had a really, really great, engaging conversation and presentation about moving forward from just including ancestral land statements. There is more information on our website. You can read about how the land statement was developed. And we are also working to take the next steps within MPHA as well. I'll mention some of those things as we get into the strategic planning and carrying that out section of the business meeting. All right, so here is our agenda. We're first going to go over some of the outgoing and incoming governing council board. We'll touch on the financial summary and then organizational highlights. We'll go through each of the different committee slides to talk about things that the group has been doing. And then looking ahead, we'll talk about what is to come for the next year or so of MPHA. So first, our departing governing council members, thank you so much to Antonia, to Connie, and to Natalie, who have all just been so incredible over their tenure as governing council members. We're going to miss you and know that you will stay involved with MPHA as we move forward as well. And then I also am so excited to welcome some newly elected governing council members. Melanie Ferris, who is our new president-elect, Alethea Anderson, who is a new member at large for Greater Minnesota. And then we have three individuals who were re-elected for their second term. Trista Host, who is our secretary, Shirley Sherry, our treasurer, and Jakisa Thompson, who is also a member at large. So, I can't quite do emojis here, but I am clapping for you. I hope everybody else on the call claps for you as well and welcomes you to the group. And then the same for our departing governing council members as well. Thank you so much for the time, for your passion and your dedication to MPHA. We're looking forward to really continuing on the work that we've done together here with some new governing council members. And so here is our list of the current 2025-2026 Governing Council. You'll see the president. The new incoming president will be Tyler Pyle, who again you'll hear from later. And then our president-elect Melanie Ferris and myself there as the immediate past president. And then a number of other great individuals. I'm not going to read everybody's name here. You are welcome to do so. And then you can also reach out to anyone that you see on here if you have any questions about different roles or responsibilities. Um, and then you can see denoted with an asterisk are the executive committee members as well. And so we have our governing council meetings, and then we also separately have executive committee meetings where we continue to move the work forward for the organization as a whole. Also on our governing council, we have student representatives. And so we are very excited for our three newish student reps who have just been really great. It's been so fun to see them, just jump right in really and join us on these governing council calls. And I think anyone who knows me knows that I have a soft spot in my heart for student reps, as well as interns. That's how I started with MPHA forever ago. I will not put a number on it. But as an intern and then also a governing council member as well. And that is, I think, one of the great pieces about MPHA is really just how welcoming everyone is and how we strive to make sure that everybody has a voice at the table. Our governing council is also made up of a number of great committees. You can see our conference planning committee chairs are open if anybody is interested in helping to co-chair the annual conference for next year. Please reach out. Let us know you're interested, or if you have any questions as well, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to share a little bit more. It's a great way to really get involved with MPHA and to become more familiar with the great work that's being done across the state. We also have our development task force, health equity committee, our history committee, leadership development, membership and communications committee, planetary health task force, our policy and advocacy, and then policy forum committees, which again, you'll hear more about what they've been doing over the last year or so as we go along during today's time together. And then I would be remiss if I did not mention our contractors, our executive director, Mary Grand, our operations specialist, Leka Pierre-Louis, who really just drive MPHA forward. And then our health equity and policy and advocacy intern, Sneva Berg, who again really just jumped right in and has been so helpful in both of the committees that she's been working with. Right, our first real piece of action here, you still have to hear from me, is our strategic planning. And so every 4 years, MPHA goes through the process of developing a new strategic plan. That was on the docket for this year. And so you can see across the slides here that it really started back in October of 2024. Where we invited non-members to participate. Through November and December, we really went into inviting MPHA members to share their voices, where they wanted to see MPHA move forward, what we've been doing well, what we need to do better with. And that was really where we developed the strategic plan. So what do we want to focus on for the next 4 years? And then the refinement of that really happened in early 2025. And the plan itself was voted for from February into the very beginning of March when we announced that the strategic plan had been approved. And so all of the great work that we have and that we have planned for is on our website. If you go into mpha.net and then you look for the strategic plan, you can see it really in depth. Some specific objectives that we want to accomplish over the next 4 years are really laid out there. And we're actively working on figuring out how exactly we can align each of the committee's work to the strategic plan of the organization as a whole. And so one of the pieces that I wanted to call out for your attention while we are all together today is this introduction section, which we thought, we really want to focus on things we want to do, but what is the goal of the strategic plan? And what are we doing together as a group? And so we developed these two really short, paragraphs or sentences. The Minnesota Public Health Association brings together members from a broad array of community and public health professionals to protect and improve the health and well-being of all of those who are connected to Minnesota. So people living here, people who are connected to the state. We want this to be broad. We want to be inclusive and focus on a large array of people, and also acknowledge the fact that MPHA is made up of people from the community, from public health professionals, people who maybe see themselves as public health professionals, and those who, maybe would consider themselves public health adjacent. But public health is huge, especially right now. So the work of MPHA is driven by evidence-based public health and practice-based research. Our strategic priorities are aligned with those of the American Public Health Association. And so you can always click on the links to go and see the American Public Health Association strategic plan. They are still working out the specifics, but again, those strategic priorities that MPHA has are aligned to what APHA has. And I really want to drive home, again, the importance of the fact that we are driven by evidence-based public health and practice-based research. That was a very important critical sentence that we added here. So our strategic priorities are here. So build workforce capacity and effectiveness, champion public health and wellness, advance equitable public health practices and outcomes, improve member engagement and satisfaction, and then execute operational excellence. And so within each one of these strategic priorities are individual objectives that we hope to plan events around. So, inside of the execute operational excellence, we are working to make sure to take a look basically at the infrastructure that MPHA has and see what needs to be updated, what we can improve based on the technologies that we have available today, things like that. And so again, more of the full strategic plan can be found at our website in the About section in the strategic plan. You can also reach out if you have any questions or if you're interested in becoming involved. We're always looking for people to help drive our work forward. All right. So I'm going to take a break here and pass it over to Shirley. Shirley, if you want to come off of mute. Shirley is one of our amazing Governing Council and Executive Council members and also our treasurer.
Yeah, so thank you. So good afternoon, everybody. And again, I'm Shirley Sherry, newly re-elected for the MPHA treasurer position. And what I'm going to do is provide a brief financial update as we look ahead at aligning our finances with the 2025 to 2028 strategic plan. So as of May 30th, of this year, our checking account holds $7,174.92, and the savings account has $123,996.63 for a total bank balance of $131,171.55. And we have no outstanding credit card debt. So we're very lean and mean. Over the past fiscal year, January 1st to December 31st of 2024, we generated $114,212 in revenue and had $116,930 in expenses. And then this actually resulted in a slight net loss, right, of $24,564. I just want to say that our financial records are available upon request, and our accountant is Clifton Allen Clifton Allen Larson, or CLA. As we were working to transition the past way of how we were inputting all of our financial data and then moving it into how we have it now with CLA, there were some different areas where we had to just make some decisions. And last year we might have had a little bit more. This year it's a little bit less, but not too worried about this right now. But as we transition into our new strategic plan period, we will be taking a closer look at our financial practices to ensure sustainability and also alignment with our operational excellence priority. So next slide. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so let's start with our primary income sources. And again, this is for fiscal year 2024, so January through December. As you can see, the annual conference generated the largest share of the revenue, accounting for 50.6% of our income. And this continues to be a vital source for support for MPHA. We've had grants from state agencies, foundations, corporate partners that made up 31.6%, reflecting our success in securing external funding for our work. Membership dues provided 13.7% of our income, which helps support our core operations and member services. Individual donations, while smaller at 3.6%, this also remains an important sign of member commitment. And finally, we pulled out, just taking a look at our policy forums, that brought in 0.5% of our income, but this aligns with our mission-driven focus. And so we just wanted to acknowledge that. Next slide. Yep. So turning to our expenses, the largest category was contracted personnel services, which made up 55.4% of our spending. And if we didn't have them, I don't think we would be even as far along as what we are, just in what we offer for MPHA. So thank you, Mary and team. So it includes administrative support and project coordination, which are critical to our daily operations. 31% of expenses went toward the annual conference, which not only generates income, but it also fulfills our mission of education and professional development. So again, with our strategic plan. Office expenses, including technology, insurance, communications, accounted for about 12.5%. And this really supports the infrastructure that's needed to run the organizations. And lastly, policy forums represented 1.1% of our expenditures, again, reflecting our continued commitment to civic engagement and public health dialogue. So the policy forums in years past, sometimes they brought in more money, sometimes less. So every year it's just a little bit different. But again, we just wanted to show just to acknowledge the commitment again to our dialogue and engagement. And I think that's all I have for Treasurer Report.
Great, thank you so much, Shirley. I just wanted to check, are there any questions in the chat about this, about expenses?
No, Kristen, there are not. Thanks for checking.
Good. Of course, I know it's an important piece, and thank you, Shirley, for presenting it so clearly as well. All right. I can't see everybody who is on. Mary, can I ask, or is Annie online?
Yes, I'm on.
Ah, yay, good, okay.
Kristen.
I can have to speak while you're talking, so I'm going to pass it over to you, Annie.
Awesome. So I'm Annie Holland. I am the affiliate representative to the American Public Health Association on behalf of our affiliate. We are a member affiliate of the APHA. And in the parlance of APHA, I'm the ARGC, which just means I'm the liaison to the governing council at American Public Health Association. I also am on the Great Lakes Public Health Coalition, which is our region of the states that are listed here, all those Great Lakes states. And we work really well together. We meet just about monthly, and we also work on reviewing APHA items together, and we also do some work together in doing candidate forums and for the APHA candidates. So just a couple quick highlights from this last year. Hopefully most of you know, but we had the exciting opportunity to have the APHA conference in Minneapolis for the first time in 50 some years. So it's very exciting to welcome. I don't know if I ever got the full number of attendees, but it's usually somewhere around 13,000 people into Minneapolis for that conference. So that was a wonderful opportunity. We had the chance to do a panel session on Affiliate Day, where we highlighted the 10-year anniversary of the Health Equity Report, Advancing Health Equity Report. And then we had our film accepted about our archives and the history of MPHA, led by Donna Anderson. So some great opportunities there. We also had a reception for MPHA that was a little bit larger than our typical gathering that we do at the conference. So those were all great highlights. This year, more recently, the APHA Governing Council has voted to change the policy statement process. And just real high level, that means that they have changed what had been called policy statements to now they're called policy briefs. And they are firming up some things. And one of the things that is clarified is that all of the policy briefs must now originate from a section or an affiliate. So that means that we, as an affiliate, can put forward a policy brief for consideration. It is a longer process now. It's about a 16-month process. However, there are some priority areas that APHA has identified, and those can be fast-tracked if needed. And also the priority areas are somewhat aligned with ours. So importance of vaccines is the number one priority area, followed by chronic disease prevention. The next is preventing substance use disorder and accessing treatment. Fourth is gun violence, and the fifth is evidence-informed strategies to reduce health inequities. So a lot of great overlap with our work and our policy focus areas. So there's certainly some opportunity for us there if we had that motivation and energy to put something forward. Please do reach out. I have the email listed here on the slide. So please reach out if you have any questions about anything related to APHA or Great Lakes Coalition. I'm happy to work with you, and especially if anyone has that thought about wanting to submit something for a policy brief.
Great, thank you, Annie. All right, annual conference committee. Teresa or Tyler, whoever would like to take this slide, can I ask you to come off of mute and tell us about the awesome conference that we just had?
Yeah, I'm happy unless Teresa wanted to go first. I always want to stress Teresa did so much for us in this, so I do not want to steal any thunder here.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so our annual conference was May 15th to the 16th. And this time it was in Duluth. It was really, really wonderful for us, especially because it had been 10 years since we had been in Duluth last. And we kind of took a different turn than a couple of the conferences in the past. Instead of having it in an academic setting, we had the conference at the historic Gray Salon by Blackwoods venue. And that was wonderful because they also focus on giving back to their communities and representing their communities well. So as part of this bullet point, it helped the artistic angle of the conference shine. We really also included art, both visual and non-visual art, in the conference this year. And we really focused on those discussions within our committee of how do we strike that balance of an academic conference, but one that is also practical and shows real life work. And this is an ongoing conversation that we've committed to continuing to have within the conference planning committee of making sure that we are having academic presentations in these conferences, but also that we are making it applicable and it makes sense to, people working in the workforce and real life. So having that representation of visual art has been absolutely wonderful. It's nice to have shared real world experience also come in. We had 186 registrants, 155 people each day in person plus virtual, 5 keynotes and plenaries, 12 concurrent sessions, and 24 posters. It really worked out with how we had everything because we were able to have all of our tables upstairs in and around the main ballroom. And that made it really, really easy for people to go back and forth, even especially with access to stairs and elevator. And then our post downstairs, and that also made it easy for people to be in one place, and then it's not like they could walk away from everything. They had to actually go and see everything. So it was a good opportunity for our poster presenters to also get good visualization on their work. We had 17 sponsors or exhibitors. This was important because, our sponsors are a huge part of making this financially happen for us. It's not the be all end all, but we do depend on our sponsors. And it also is an important conversation for our committee of where do we receive our money from and our funding for this conference? And how does that play into our values for an organization? So that has been something that's been really wonderful to be a part of. We had continuing education hours, which is always fantastic. And then, of course, this year it was co-chaired by Teresa and I. This was my third conference co-chairing, and this time as president-elect. The previous 2 years, I had volunteered for it. So at the beginning, when you heard Kristen talking about, this opportunity to be a conference co-chair and it's being an opportunity to get to know people in the work that's going on in greater Minnesota. She's not kidding. It is a opportunity, but it also forces you to interact with others and build those relationships. And that's not a bad thing. It is a wonderful way to get to know people in this association. And not just get to know people professionally, but also on a personal level. I'm very, very happy to be able to call a lot of people in this association, my friends and my colleagues, especially for people I've been able to learn from. So with that, Teresa, do you have anything to add or that you would like to take over from here?
No, I think that was a great summary, and I just want to say that we had an excellent planning committee that met twice a month, and that was really what helped shape it as well. We had a very diverse, very passionate planning committee, and I encourage everyone to join the conference planning committee at least once just to see all the work that goes into it. Thanks, Tyler.
Great, thank you both. Health Equity Committee. Sarah, did I see you on?
Yep, here I am.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Sarah Rogers here, co-chair of the Health Equity Committee, along with Erica Fishman. And so this was my first year as co-chair of the Health Equity Committee. So in addition to myself, there was we also had Madison Anderson joining us a bit last year before she became ill. But our committee really acknowledges the deep-seated and longstanding health inequities and structural racism facing many Minnesotans. We meet every third Thursday of the month, and topics this past year have included hosting that event on the Advancing Health Equity Report and follow-up discussion in June and then July of last year. Then we also had a meeting on Native American Community Clinic. We heard from the American Health Association, Washington County Public Health, my colleague April Shaw from the Network for Public Health Law on affirmative action, And then this year we did something new. In January, we held a virtual mixer on social connection. And we are planning to do such event again in July. And that was really great to really get to know each other over, a single topic of social connection, especially during this bit of a crazy time. And we also heard other speakers from Ramsey County Public Health and the Eastside Health and Wellbeing Collaborative. I found really great enjoyment out of this committee and really looking forward to seeing what we come next. Each committee on average includes 20 to 30 people. And it's a really great group of humans. Please join us for those who don't on this call, and really looking forward to seeing how we can align that strategic plan into our work moving forward, to be in community with each other. And we are looking for a co-chair. So if you have any recommendations, please email us at healthequity@mpha.net. All right, thanks all, and off to the next committee.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, if you are interested in becoming a co-chair or just have questions about the committee too, please feel free to reach out to Sarah there. History Committee. Donna and Kathy, I saw that you were both on here. Does one of you want to come off of mute and talk about the History Committee?
Donna, do you want to take it?
No, I'd like Kathy. Kathy is our new co-chair,
Yay.
and
Okay.
I'd like you to speak to it, Kathy, please.
Okay. So Donna has done a wonderful job of getting the History Committee up and going, and continues to be very involved in the History Committee. Our mission is to capture and communicate MPHA history and public health stories about past and present policies, programs, and people to highlight the impact of MPHA and public health history that informs present and future health policy and programs. There are historical records, and this is what we've been working on, available for research, planning and programming, teaching, policy and development, special projects such as media production, exhibits, and display. And the picture there, you can see Donna in the middle and Mary Grand kind of in toward the back. And then in the forefront of that picture is Linnea Anderson, and she has been an extremely helpful person. She's at the University of Minnesota. She's a librarian and works in the stacks. And that's a picture of the four of us. Actually, it's of the three of us, but I was taking the picture. Linnea brought us through the stacks and gave us a very in-depth tour of what they have and what materials they have. This is where we're keeping a lot of those historical materials, and if anyone is needing any of those materials, it makes it's all orderly, and you can ask for certain things and then get them out of the stacks. So in order to get the word out, we're planning a 2025 fall event. It will be held at the University of Minnesota in the library. And you'll learn more about historical records, what's available, and how you go about requesting those materials. And there will be some time to meet and greet other public health professionals. So we're really looking forward to that. Kind of keep your eyes open toward mid to end of September for that. And Donna, did I miss anything?
Well, you didn't miss anything. It was great. I would just like to add, we are working with, in addition to the university, the Social Welfare Archives, Linnea Anderson, we're working with the Wagenstein Library, the Historical Library, and the School of Public Health Archives. And it's kind of going to be a partnership because they also have wonderful public health material, and the event will feature each of our respective archives, the MPHA, the Wagenstein, and the School of Public Health.
Great. Thank you, Donna and Kathy. As if we needed an excuse to be even more excited about it. Now it's going to be bigger than the last time we talked. Thank you both. All right, Leadership Committee. Anne, Shirley, or Jenny, I know you're going to be talking later, but does anyone want to briefly give a rundown of what's been done over the last year?
Why don't I do it?
Thanks, Shirley.
So Ann Zukowski, Jenny Klesnick, and myself are a team of 3. So we don't say coach, we're just all 3 of us work diligently together. And Jenny has really been oriented and is, just part of the overall leadership. What we did this past year is we play a key role in maintaining continuity and support for our governance. And so our primary responsibilities include coordinating the governing council elections. We want to ensure that we have a transparent and inclusive process to identify and then engage leaders across our membership. We do planning and we deliver the council orientation so that new leaders, especially new leaders, have context so that they can lead efficiently and align with our mission and strategic direction. And then lastly, our MPHA Awards, which we oversee the nomination and selection process for outstanding individuals who advance public health in Minnesota. And that will be coming right after our committee updates. We also always try to identify new leaders to strengthen our association in a year-round process, so encouraging people to participate in different communities. So please reach out anytime if you want to join our leadership committee. Feel free to email us. We've got the email address right here, and just let us know. So thank you.
Thanks, Shirley. All right, Membership and Communications Committee. I don't think that I had seen that Tolu or Ellen were able to join, so I'll just give a quick rundown of the slide here. Our Membership and Communications Committee combined, they're vital to leading our external outreach and ensuring that members and the general public understand what MPHA does, what our values are, and also advocacy work that we're doing. So in 2024, 2025, over the last year, there were a number of different events. You can always find them on the calendar on our website, but things from walks to webinars, a continued focus on engaging with students and rural public health professionals, and then updates to organizational membership and member benefits. The group meets monthly on the second Tuesday from 2 to 3 p.m. And you can always reach out to the membership committee using the email on the slide here. So fast, but important committee we have there. Planetary Health Task Force. And just a little time check, we are running a little bit late. So as we continue to move through these slides, if you could take about a minute or two, that would be great. So Tyler, I'm not sure if I saw Melissa. So I think I'm passing it to you. Is that right?
I did see Melissa on, unless she has jumped.
She's on.
Ah, nice.
Okay.
I'm on,
So
but
Melissa,
anyway, it's
oh,
fine.
perfect.
For the sake of time, I'll keep it very short, but this is a new task force and we meet the 4th Wednesday of the month. And we just finalized our charter. So now we're really excited about moving into developing a resource hub for folks. And all are welcome to join us.
I will say, I think that just about summarizes it. This is a task force that started after Melissa and I met at the 2024 France. Am I right about that? Yeah. And we're both very passionate about planetary health. For me, this is really important. The area I live in right now, the air quality index is about 217, so very unhealthy due to smoke movement on the airstreams. So planetary health is a vital part of our future. So please feel free to join at any time, and we are happy to have anyone. So
Thank you so much, Tyler and Melissa. All right, policy forum. Did I see Angie on here?
Hi,
Hey,
Kristen,
Angie.
I can go. This is Lindsay Fabian, unless Kathy wants to. She can also jump in. I'm not sure Angie's
Go
here.
ahead, Lindsay.
Okay, thanks. All right, hi everyone. Lindsay Fabian here, member of the Policy Forum Committee. Just wanted to give a brief recap of what we did over the past year. We hosted 3 forums on our topic, Connecting the Dots, a call to action, and you can see the topics on the slide here. One forum was on housing, one on mental health, and one on food insecurity. We host these both in person and have a YouTube live option. And we've archived all of the past forums on our YouTube channel. Thanks to some of the great MPHA staff and volunteers have helped us with that. And our committee is meeting this summer, and we will be announcing a new policy forum series in August or September. So stay tuned and hope you can join us for one in the future.
Thank you, Lindsay. All right, policy and advocacy. Matt, can I pass it over to you?
You can, and I'll go super quick. I'm going to put an action alert and a link to other action alerts in the chat. Policy and advocacy meets the second Tuesday of the month. So next week will be the 10th of the month, I think, June 10th, from 12 to 1. If you want to join us, we've been working closely to keep track of proposed cuts to state and federal funding for public health. There are a couple of places where there might actually be some new money in the state budget. So hang in, maybe show up next week. That's a teaser to come. But we're very concerned in particular about current proposed cuts to Medicaid that have been in the news and then less in the news, cuts also to food assistance and environmental health. So that first link in the Action Center will take you to a spot where you can let your federal elected officials know that you're concerned about those cuts. You can edit that if you want to add additional detail or want to focus on one of those issues more than all 3. And then I put a second link that shows you previous action alerts that APHA has done to the federal elected officials. If you're interested in state and federal advocacy, please join us next Tuesday, 12 to 1. Thanks so much for your time, Kristen. I'll send it back to you.
Thanks so much, Matt. And I do just want to also add that, when you click on those action alerts, you can go through and do it really quick. It doesn't take that much time, but it is very meaningful on the back end. So add your voice to the conversation. All right, we're getting to the end of our section here, but MPHA is a volunteer-run organization. We couldn't do what we do without the people we have, as well as the partnerships that we have. And we know that we're stronger with the different partners that we collaborate with here, many of whom are listed on here. So thank you so much for supporting the annual conference, but also for a number of other events and things that people have sponsored, and also our organizational members here too. So sponsors and organizational members, we couldn't do what we do without you, as well as the great people that are part of MPHA. And now it is my honor to officially pass this over to Tyler, who is our 81st, thank you for sending that to me, Mary, our 81st MPHA president. It's been an honor to work alongside of all of you who are on this call and a number of other members who will join and watch this later. So thank you. Looking forward to continuing to work alongside all of you, and especially being loud in the next couple of years. But Tyler, let me officially pass the duties over to you for this next slide.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very excited that Kristen will also be having one more year at least with leadership as the outgoing president. When I first joined MPHA, Ellen, I believe, was going to be the outgoing president. Or yes, and then Antonio was going into the incoming or was the president, and then Kristen afterwards joined as president, and so I have had a great opportunity to follow in shoes of not only who I see as personally successful people, but also people who are very good at communication, supporting other people, and also taking into the interests of everybody. So it's been absolutely wonderful to follow that example and learn from it. And it's learning from it that I am still doing. So I will always ask for grace, but I hope everyone understands that I will always show grace in return. My door or the email, president@mpha.net, is always open. So please feel free to reach out anytime. I will try to keep this short. So the implementation and alignment of activities around our strategic plan. So earlier in the chat, that strategic plan, the link to it was shared. So I just really quickly want to talk about the 5 major components of that strategic plan when you go to that and look at the document. Number 1 is building workforce capacity and effectiveness. I'm just going to kind of go through each bullet point here. So offer innovative professional development opportunities benefiting members at all stages of their careers. Increase individual and organizational skills and capacity to meet current and emerging public health topics, and support academic partners, students, faculty, and alumni with identified needs. These are things that we talk about on a regular basis. You know, what can we do better? How can we support not only our members, but also public health professionals in Minnesota? And we've also talked about what it means to be a member, and if that means that you are a Minnesotan or you call Minnesota home. And it's been really nice to work around that definition that we want to support people who are even calling Minnesota home temporarily or work here and maybe live just outside of the state. That's become really, really important to us. So building on that workforce capacity is then important to us because that builds on everybody's ability to have more free time, or just be able to be better at their work. And that's all entirely up to everyone here and beyond of how you use your time. We just want to be able to support people. Number 2, champion public health and wellness. Strengthen and expand strategic partnerships with organizations, communities, and the media to build a public health movement, and promote MPHA as a resource hub for public health knowledge and practice across our state. Advocate for public health through social media campaigns, webinars, legislative testimony, and storytelling to engage diverse audiences. This is something, number 2 is something I think we have been working at especially hard in this last year. And it's been really wonderful to hear the conversations, even if it's an objection in the middle of a conversation we're having, to say, what about these strategic partnerships, or are we actually meeting those? So thank you to everybody who's been a part of that. That has been wonderful to have your voice. Number 3, advance equitable public health practices and outcomes. Work to operationally embed equity principles in all of MPHA's work. Nurture partnerships with community-based organizations to promote equitable public health outcomes across our state, and prioritize initiatives that champion health equity through legislation. While I have not been able to be a huge part of policy and advocacy and legislation work, I will say I am very impressed, especially through the conference planning committee, how often we talk about the importance of representative organizations or companies that are smaller businesses, or they are grassroots organizations, and the real conversations that we have of, like I said earlier, what that looks like for our funding. You know, if we are having funding from grassroots organizations, or if we're having our funding through larger corporations, that has become really important to people in the last few years, and I'm glad that we are talking about it. Number 4, improve member engagement and satisfaction. Undertake initiatives that increase recruitment to ensure membership reflects the diverse populations of Minnesota. Foster a sense of belonging and value by having a variety of offerings reflecting needs in the public health community and members' interests. Highlight existing pathways and develop new ways for members to become more engaged in the organization that aligns with our mission and vision. I will say when it comes to my door being open, anyone who has been in a committee with me or in a discussion, you have probably heard me talk about the ability for people in greater Minnesota to be part of what we do here. I know a lot of us are based around the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, and so that has always been really important to me, especially as somebody not from this area. I want everybody to feel like they have the same opportunity to participate in this association, and I want everyone to feel like they can be at these events or they can have the same level of relationships with each other. So if you ever feel like there are ways that we can improve on that, all of us are more than happy to hear about it, but I am especially sympathetic to this. And then number 5, execute operational excellence, review and strengthen MPHA's infrastructure, administrative support, and governance, work to build a sustainable capacity and funding strategy to quickly and effectively respond to emerging public health issues. This is one of those things that I especially like. I especially love things like Shirley's breakdown of our financials. Because in that, what I heard was a breakdown that is easy for everybody to be able to follow along, being able to offer you the documentation of our financials and the way that we operate. That's really important for me as transparency for everybody in this association. I just want everybody to feel like they know what's going on and that there's never any decisions being made behind closed doors and that we always are able to tell you exactly what we're doing. And then building a sustainable capacity, that for me has also been really important and nice to see. We really talk about, what we do as an association, but then we've also had real conversations of, for the few staff members that we have, are we financially supporting them and are we actually able to move forward into the future sustainably? So for the rest of this slide, consideration of current state and federal impacts on public health. I don't think we need to do a lengthy conversation about the impacts of federal policies on public health within this last year, but this is something that will always be a topic of conversation for us, no matter what the administration. And just being aware that things might look different for the next couple of years than they did in previous years, but that is something we'll always undertake together. Our active members, we appreciate every single person, not just on this call, but also in the association. We want you to be involved to the ability that you can be, and we are more than happy for whatever time you are able to give, if it's by showing up here today or if it's attending any committee or conference meeting, we're happy that you're here. That engagement across the state, we're always going to continue working on it, and we hope that all people feel welcome and their voices are heard. And then the value of diverse partnerships. This is where I'm very happy to hear from people if you think that we can do more. But I am very happy of the direction that we are going and making sure we're getting those grassroots organizations and that multiple people and perspectives are being represented. And then that continued focus on ways to support members and public health professionals across the state. Public health is more than just academic learning centers or medical centers. It is also people who work in social work, and it is people who work in, like what I did, food inspections for the state of Minnesota. It is very, very diverse. There are tons of options and ways to be involved. So again, that contact is president@mpha.net, and always feel free to reach out. So I hope that didn't go on for too long, but now we can move on to our award ceremony.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Tyler. That was great. Looking forward to the year ahead, and thanks to Kristen for the year past. Drum roll, please. We're ready for the 2025 MPHA Awards. This is, of course, my favorite time of year to honor those heroes amongst us who are doing the hard work to make social change in our state. My name is Ann Sikoski. I co-chair the leadership committee with Shirley, Sherry, and Jenny Klesnick. We are thrilled to present to you today 9 awards. Our process is we make a call out and people submit nominations. They are reviewed by a committee. This year we received a high number of nominations and it was very competitive. Nominations are reviewed, scored, and a slate is presented to the MPHA Governing Council for approval. And let's get going, because the most important part is hearing from the nominators as well as those receiving the awards. I encourage you to find your Kleenex, sit back and enjoy this next part of the meeting. And I am going to launch it with the first award, which is the Albert Justice Chesley Award, who honors an individual who has distinguished themselves in the field of public health and who have, through their membership to MPHA, made a definite contribution to the organization. And I am going to pass it to Jean Ayers, Executive Director of the Healthy Democracy, Healthy People, to present first to introduce the awardee.
Well, thank you so much, Anne, and to MPHA for really being committed to this award for, I think I looked it up, it's like 64 or 60, since 1960. There has been a consistent winner of this award. I looked back through the awards and I see that Catherine Harrison will be the 64th awardee. And I am so pleased to have a chance to be the person who's presenting this. One of the early awardees that jumped out at me when I looked over the history was Dr. Ruth Boynton, who was a pioneering director at the University of Minnesota Boynton Health Service. And that Boynton Health Service happens to be where I first worked with and had the opportunity to meet Catherine, where she was the public health nurse supervisor responsible for flu and flu clinics and public health and screening programs. And it was at this time that as I got to know her better, I learned about her passion and her commitment to public health. In fact, she shared with me, she was considering going to graduate school, and she shared with me that when she first had learned about public health as a discipline, she felt that she had found the thing she had always been looking for, but didn't know existed. But there was an actual field of study that was about changing the world and how energized that made her. And I think many of us in public health have had that same experience. So over the past 15 years, I've had a chance to see Catherine continue to dedicate herself to changing and improving the world through her steady commitment to health equity and social justice. She's held roles in local government, nonprofits, and university and community-based organizations. And her interests have ranged from maternal child health to climate change and equitable workplace policy. I, again, had a chance to work with her when she served as founding director for an international organization tackling maternal and infant mortality in Sierra Leone. And then she went on and she authored a physician's guide to climate change, health, and equity in her role at a public health institute in California. And she's currently serving as the Deputy Director of Health Emergency Response at the University of Minnesota. So she's had all these different intersections and things. One of the things I've been really impressed with is that there's never something that seems too big or too unwieldy or too undefined for Catherine to feel like she could play a role in it. So she's always been willing to step up into those kinds of roles. And so we're here to honor her contributions to the Minnesota Public Health Association. She's been a member of the MPHA Health Equity Committee since 2018 when she returned to Minnesota. And in 2020, MPHA started to work on a voting and health initiative to highlight the critical connection between health equity and civic participation and encourage those of us in public health to use our opportunities to promote voter and voting registration. And we really were doing some pretty remarkable things, the people who were leading that initiative. And when the opportunity to expand and broaden this effort arose, Catherine stepped up to chair the initiative on behalf of MPHA, and she organized meetings and forged partnerships with the Minnesota SOFI, Society for Public Health Educators, the Advocates for Better Health, Vote ER, We Choose Us, and again, the National Healthy Democracy, Healthy People Coalition, which I was leading with public health organizations. She helped identify local opportunities for members to mobilize and take collective action, including helping organize people to do legislative testimony to help pass the Minnesota 2023 Democracy for the People Act, She spoke at state and national conferences and in university classes. She made a video for MPHA on social media on voting and health that has had over 33,000 views. And then in 2024, this coalition that she was helping forge in Minnesota began to call itself the Health and Democracy Minnesota Partnership, and joined together with a national effort to launch the Minnesota We Will Vote campaign. And this Minnesota coalition's efforts were a resounding success that engaged over 18 healthcare organizations in Minnesota, reaching over 18,000 health professionals, and really serves as a national model for locally driven community engagement. And at this moment, this critical time in our country, in our democracy, and for our health, I'm just so grateful that Catherine continues to serve as the state lead for health and democracy for this partnership, and for her commitment to building our collective power. And I know that her commitment to building the relationships and strengthening our capacities is going to pay off for the organization and for all of us. So I just want to turn it over to Catherine. Congratulations, Catherine. I'm so excited.
Thank you, Jean. I know, and thank you to Erica Fishman for nominating me for this award. I know she wasn't able to be here, but it's fitting and touching to have you introduce it, as you've been a tremendous mentor to me these past 15 years, and so grateful to be able to receive this award. And thank you to MPHA and the leadership committee. I was reflecting on, as a nurse, the first and probably most important value we learn in healthcare is about patient autonomy, which literally translates to self-rule. It's from the Greek words meaning self-rule. And I have always, since finding public health, as you mentioned, really been drawn into, committed to the mission of public health as what we do collectively to assure the conditions for people to be healthy. And especially more recently, thinking about how that isn't possible if we don't have our autonomy, and that if we don't have our both personal and collective autonomy, we can't then make those decisions. And so in all the areas I've worked, climate change, maternal health, emergency preparedness, we often get to learn about democracy and engage in democracy as we advocate for those, whatever issue in each of those areas. But none of that is possible if we don't have our democracy itself. And so what started out as not only the importance of voting and has now bloomed into sort of how do we deepen our democracy for the sake of health in its own right as its own determinative health has really become really mission critical for me, I guess, in this work. And so I'm really grateful to be receiving this award at this time as we're really deeply engaged in this struggle. And so I will just say thank you. And I think it did, can you see it? It did arrive, and I had to made sure to put it in my backpack last night as I'm on campus today. So just thank you so much. And I'm grateful and honored to be the most recent in this long line. And I also did notice Dr. Boynton's name on that list of previous recipients. So thank you so much.
Great. I'm going to pass it to Shirley. We're going to trade off describing the awards.
Great. And I got a little message that people were having a hard time hearing me. So are we good?
Yes.
Okay, good.
For me.
Okay. So the second award is the B. Robert Lewis Award. And this award is presented to an elected official who has distinguished themselves in aggressive pursuit to establish and maintain health as a human right and to secure optimal community and personal health. And I am going to pass this on to Sarah Holly, who is the Director of Hennepin County Public Health, to make this award.
Thank you, Shirley.
Yes. Yeah.
Good to be here. Good to see you all. Good to see some familiar faces. First, I just want to say congratulations to Commissioner Conley. on this really wonderful award. And thank you to this organization, this body, for awarding this to Commissioner Conley. I'll just start off by saying, Angela Conley, Commissioner Conley is Hennepin County Commissioner for District 4. Commissioner Conley is a visionary leader and unwavering advocate for public health. As a chair of Hennepin County's Health Committee and a member of SHAC, Commissioner Conley consistently champions public health, race and health equity in board meetings, at community events, media engagements, and funding initiatives that directly address the most pressing public health challenges in Hennepin County. A testament to her advocacy is the transformative Hennepin County Women's Heart Health Initiative. This was spurred by her own lived experience and commitment to addressing disparities in heart health among Black and African American and Indigenous women. Under her leadership, the county invested $2 million over 2 years to support this effort, and this effort is continuing on here in Hennepin County. Through partnerships with community members, 7 clinics, and 9 community-based organizations, the initiative drives outreach, education, mental health support, and culturally relevant heart health programs supporting more than 5,000 participants across 100 community and clinic events and interactions since its inception. Commissioner Conley's advocacy for an investment in this initiative spearheaded, and you may have seen these, the billboards, the bus advertisement, she spearheaded the Your Heart Beats for Generations campaign that will be here in Hennepin County through July of this year. It's a media campaign that was done in collaboration with a creative agency, the amazing Blackbird Revolt agency here in Minneapolis. And this campaign features 7 women from the community, including Commissioner Conley, and is rooted in personal experiences and stories. Commissioner Conley is also really a leading force in maternal health, particularly for Black and American Indian people. She is laying the groundwork. She has laid the groundwork, I would say, for trust building and authentic community-led systems change and program development, really positioning Hennepin County as a proactive leader in improving structural equity and access to culturally relevant, respectful, and dignified care. Under Commissioner Conley's leadership, the county invested over $9 million between 2021 and 2024 in maternal health, with the goal of improving maternal health outcomes in Hennepin County. The Maternal Health Initiative expanded access for services, improved maternal and child health data surveillance, health education, and increased community partnerships for maternal health care and supports. Commissioner Conley's dedication to public health, race and health equity, and transformative policymaking continues to shape Hennepin County's future. Her work exemplifies the power of community-centered leadership, creating lasting improvements in health outcomes and experiences, outreach, and systemic equity. From your people in Hennepin County Public Health, Commissioner Conley, congratulations on this well-deserved award. I'll pass it over to Commissioner Conley.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Oh, Director Holly, thank you so much. Look at this. Here it is right here, everyone. Look at that. I probably screamed when I opened the box and saw that, because I'm one of those people that I do this work. I do it for free. I truly believe that advancing public health saves lives, and it is our calling to be doing this work. So all of you are doing work that that really is something that uplifts the human condition. So I'm humbled but honored to receive the award, and really just wanted to talk a little bit about my approach to advancing public health initiatives that support the well-being of residents. Has always centered the interconnected nature of what public health really is and what it's composed of. There are so many layers and intersections and it's like a web. And my career has been rooted in social work. So I've worked both at the state and the county for so many years. And really what that did is it allowed me to see where there's gaps in meaningful and comprehensive service in our systems, and how those gaps show themselves depending upon what demographic you fall into in our communities. And so I really wanted to change that. So I ran for office. Here I am. And so over the past 6.5 years, I'd say, my office, in partnership with residents and exceptional county staff and county leadership, you've heard we've made unprecedented investments and really great strides in contributing to a public health system in the largest county in the state, 1.3 million people almost, in ways that aim to really tackle and eliminate unacceptable disparities in people's quality of life. I think is what it boils down to. I co-authored a resolution that declared racism a public health crisis in Hennepin County, which is now a mandated lens in which the county utilizes across all of our lines of business, and that is a lot. You heard about the investments into birth justice. So we invested $10 million into a birth justice collaborative and initiative that ensures that Black and Indigenous mothers and their babies survive and thrive, not only in Hennepin County, but across this entire region, across the state. There's no reason the disparities should be that bad in maternal health. We launched a Raise the Baseline initiative. This is a guaranteed basic income pilot. And this was a program to explore what it meant to really help make sure families are guaranteed income that would allow them to escape the devastating health impacts that poverty has on them, and that their basic needs are not just met, they're fulfilled. And we're seeing that by initiating this pilot, that it has strengthened the health and well-being of families by not having to worry about rent, not having to worry about how they're going to put food on the table. By just investing in that pilot, investing $2 million into accessible heart health education that Director Holly and her team have been champions on. But it was from my own lived experience. I said people need to know, especially Black women and women, that our symptoms are different. They look different and our outcomes are bad. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of Black women in Hennepin County. We've got to change that. And I'm hoping and optimistic that we will, not just for me, but for my daughters and their future daughters. And I'm just excited about how this work in and of itself will just build upon other work that we've invested in over the years. And as it relates to improving our public health system just across the board, across the state in general. And I want to close by just talking about the next thing, right? There's always a next thing. And to me, advancing healthy aging in Hennepin County is going to be huge. And that's just a next step that I just see as natural when we are looking at starting at the birth outcomes of people to our overall health into how we're aging. That's whole body care, that's whole person care. And that really matters to me a whole lot. So this award is tremendous. I'm just really deeply honored and appreciative to have received it. Thank you so much to our public health department, especially those that I've worked so closely with for birth justice and heart health work. County administration, of course, my family, and the residents of the 4th District that I have the privilege and honor of representing on the county board. Thank you so much.
Oh, Anna, I think you're on mute.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I'm trying so hard to be on mute, but I just was saying thank you so much, Commissioner Conley. Appreciate your comments so much. It's such a shot in the arm for those of us working in public health right now to have an elected official speak so well and have done such dedicated work in public health. So thank you, and thank you, Sarah, for the nomination. We are ready for the Dr. Harold Howell LePink Scholarship Award. This award goes to an early career professional working for local public health located in Greater Minnesota. And we have a great introduction by video from Shara Sevick. Okay, I am not hearing anything. Are others?
I think the person playing needs to be unmuted.
More time.
All right.
Hi, my name is Shara Subcheck, and I'm the Executive Director and Community Health Services Administrator for Health and Human Services of Faribault and Martin counties. I am very excited today to announce Jordan Niles as the 2025 recipient for the Dr. Harold Hal Lefnick Scholarship Award through the Minnesota Public Health Association. Jordan is an exceptional new public health leader. Hi, my name is Shara Subcheck, and I'm the Executive Director and Community Health Services Administrator for Health and Human Services of Faribault and Martin counties. I am very excited today to announce Jordan Niles as the 2025 recipient for the Dr. Harold Hal Lefnick Scholarship Award through the Minnesota Public Health Association. Jordan is an exceptional new public health leader whose dedication, innovation, and commitment to improving community health in Minnesota truly makes her a deserving candidate for this honor. After earning her Master's of Public Health degree from Boston University School of Public Health, Jordan accepted a role in our rural local public health agency in 2024. She brought her vision to strengthen health and the well-being of small rural communities. Jordan grew up in the Twin Cities metro area, and this was her real first experience working in a more rural setting. She took a leap of faith after graduation from her master's program and moved here to work in communities that she didn't have any experience in. Throughout her time, she has quickly grown strong relationships with local partners and has found a true calling working in a more rural setting. In her role as a public health planner, she has played a transformative role in developing and expanding our community health coalition called Stronger Together. Under her leadership, the coalition has successfully advanced our community health improvement plan, focusing on key health priorities such as adverse childhood experiences, mental health, substance use, chronic disease, and equitable access to health and dental care. One of Jordan's most impactful contributions in her short time in our agency has been her coordination of a healthcare access transportation assessment, which shed light on the barriers and challenges that individuals face in reaching essential health services due to transportation challenges. Her work in this area has enhanced understanding of the systemic issues and paved the way for potential solutions that will improve access to underserved populations. This first-of-a-kind health assessment will provide information to our local legislators to help understand where policy work can be done to help improve access to transportation in rural communities to healthcare. In addition to that, Jordan has actively collaborated with our Faribault, Martin, and Watonwan County statewide health improvement partnership program. She has been instrumental in supporting bike safety education programs in schools and communities, ensuring that children and families have access to resources that promote active living. Her efforts include organizing bike rodeos and working with local active living coalitions to demonstrate the improvements that are needed to create a more walkable and bikeable community. Jordan's tireless commitment to public health, her ability to bring strong community partnerships, her innovative approach to health equity, those all embody Dr. Harold Hal Lefnick Scholarship Award. She is a passionate advocate for community wellness, and her leadership in rural Minnesota continues to inspire positive change. Without further ado, I'm very excited to announce Jordan Niles for the recipient of this scholarship award.
Great.
Hi, everyone. So here's the award. I first want to thank Shara for this immense honor, as well as MPHA for awarding me this scholarship award. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude and have received this recognition in just my short time. I want to thank my friends and family also through their support through my education and my brief career. So when I first received this notification of award, I was stunned. I'm only in my second year of local public health work. And I'm sure, like many of you, it feels incredible to belong. The love I feel for the communities I work alongside is insane. If you would have told me 2 years ago as a new MPH graduate and still living in Boston that I would be back working in Minnesota, but even more specifically working in rural Minnesota, I would have never believed you. It never even occurred to me that rural public health would become one of my passions, and I've had the best time. I'm so honored that Shara stalked me on LinkedIn and given me an opportunity to become a part of this incredible team here at Fairfield Martin County and sometimes Watonwan. These past 16 months have been filled with lots of learning, laughs, and meeting some of the most passionate people I've ever come across. I'm honored to accept this award for all those I work alongside, specifically in Faribault and Martin County, but even further, all of those in local public health in Minnesota and beyond. So thank you guys. This is truly an honor.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna just give a little background on the award. So this next award is the Harvey G. Rogers Environmental Health Leadership Award. This award honors an individual who, through the years of dedication, distinguished service, and technical contribution, has promoted the public's health through the preservation of the environment. So I'm going to ask Kathleen Norleen, who has been a former award winner, and she's also been a past MPHA president and a very, very, very dedicated MPH member, to make this award.
Okay, so thank you, Shirley. And I am going to stick to my my little script. Otherwise, it will take me a lot longer. So Dr. Ruth Linfield is the recipient of a Harvey G. Rogers Award. Dr. Linfield is currently the medical director and state epidemiologist for the Minnesota Department of Health. She's also an adjunct professor in medicine and in epidemiology at the University of Minnesota. In her past 28 years with MDH, she's developed surveillance system, investigated outbreaks, conducted research on emerging infectious diseases, and helped develop statewide and national public health policies. You want Ruth on your side. While trained as a pediatric infectious disease physician, her work extends far beyond her medical degree to impact environmental health and Minnesota's environment. A few examples of Dr. Linfield's work, which have required close attention and consideration to environmental factors, include investigation of e-cigarettes, vaping, and product use associated with lung injury, which is we coin as EVALI, transmission of SARS-CoV-2 in a variety of settings and environments. And in the area of environmental and occupational health, she's worked on lung disease in sugar beet processing workers and neuropathy among swine abattoirs or workers in meat processing plants. Dr. Linfield brings a multidisciplinary approach to problems at using data and science. Her scientific expertise to find solutions. She's adept at weaving together scientific research and guidance to ensure that there's a bridge between public health messaging and communications from medical practitioners. Dr. Linfield, I've always appreciated your thoughtful reviews and admire how you remain humble and approachable to maximize your impact and improve and advance public health, and more specifically, environmental health. So congratulations on this award, and thanks for all you do. And I'll turn it over to Ruth, or Dr. Linfield.
Oh, Ruth is fine. Thank you. Here's my award. And wow, I am deeply honored to receive this award. Thank you. Thank you so much to Kathy. Thank you to MPHA and the Leadership Committee. And thank you to all of you, to all of my colleagues. Harvey Rogers was remarkable. He worked at MDH from 1927 to 1961, with a break during World War II to serve with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. He studied at Harvard Graduate School of Engineering and Public Health and graduated from the University of Minnesota with expertise as a public health engineer. And when MDH created a water pollution section in 1946, Harvey Rogers was asked to lead it. During his tenure, he served in the Public Health Service Division of Water Pollution Control and contributed to national guidance on wastewater plants. He was known for his dedication to his work and for his support of his colleagues. I am greatly honored to be nominated for this award by Kathy Norling, who received this award, as you heard, in 2023 and was the MPHA president 2020 to 2021. Kathy's a wonderful colleague who served at MDH for 32 years and recently retired, and we miss her terribly. I've had the pleasure of working with her on a number of environmental health issues, and I appreciate her expertise. In particular, I'm so grateful for her work on ventilation during our response to the COVID-19 pandemic. As the American Public Health Association states, environmental health is a key part of any comprehensive public health system and ensures that everyone has a safe place to live, to learn, to work, and to play. Public health has always had many challenges, and indeed we have many today. Let's be inspired by the dedication and passion of Harvey Rogers and other public health leaders and colleagues, including all of those who have been together today, including the award recipients. Public health is a collaborative calling. Together, we can address our current and future challenges. Though the road is long and full of obstacles, we are powerful when we work together. I will leave you with a quote from the Japanese writer Ryosuke Satoru. Individually, we are one drop. Together, we are an ocean. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. I think we were going back to the to a special recognition award. At times each year, and this is periodically, special recognitions are given, and Teresa Host is going to introduce this award.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Grand. I'm the executive director of MPHA. Trista actually had to hop off for a meeting, so I apologize that we're running a little behind today, but I'm happy to share the remarks that Teresa prepared. So thrilled to give this special recognition award to Counselor Ezreen Awal. Ezreen, and I'll read Teresa's remarks. Ezreen exemplifies the power of community-centered leadership. As a member of the Duluth City Council, they have championed equity, youth engagement, and inclusive policymaking, all while navigating the unique public health challenges that communities in Greater Minnesota face, from limited access to services to the need for stronger local infrastructure and diverse representation. Their work reminds us that true public health leadership doesn't just come from institutions. It's built through relationships, trust, and a deep connection to place. Throughout this year's annual conference planning process, Ezreen played a key role in ensuring the conference was not just held in Duluth, but meaningfully rooted in Duluth's unique community and history. Their leadership helped bring forward local voices, priorities, and partnerships that made this gathering more relevant, more inclusive, and more grounded in the community. They helped shape key programming, including our Healthy Minnesota Advocacy Workshop, and facilitated connections with local leaders that deepened our connections and shared purpose. Ezreen, thank you so much for your leadership, your partnership, and your unwavering commitment to equity. With that, I'm honored to hand it over to you to say a few words.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you, Teresa. I know she had to leave, but for just nominating me. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Ezreen Owl. I am an at-large city councilor for the city of Duluth, Minnesota. I'm absolutely honored to be awarded the Certificate of Special Recognition from the Minnesota Public Health Association. I have my certificate here, although I don't think the blurred screen is going to let me show it. And thank you for having the MPHA annual conference in Duluth and really highlighting the Northland. It was an amazing privilege to work with all of the annual conference committee members this past year and just do the work. We know that local public health policies directly affect the lives of all of our residents, all of my constituents. Issues like clean water, air quality, food access, food deserts, access to equitable healthcare, education, and disease prevention. And education are managed locally by nonprofits, by city administration, by county and state official and departments, right? And when we prioritize public health in all of our actions, in all of our legislations, we are improving our residents, our constituents' quality of life, life expectancy, while addressing systemic barriers and systems of oppression and, of course, racism. And I think what's important to highlight is that this is a shared responsibility, of course, between all of us. And we've kind of seen the messages and heard from so many leaders, past folks who were awarded.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work out. I mean, I wasn't.
Past leaders, just even here today on like, how do we work together, right? It is the responsibility of local electeds and leaders to identify and address disparities in health outcomes, especially amongst neighborhoods and zip codes. We know that even in Duluth, the standard of living and life expectancy, how long you're going to live, differs in Duluth by just even our zip codes, and that is not acceptable. This is why it's even more important to make sure underserved communities have access to healthcare, nutritious food, safe environments, and economic opportunities. I've been working actively with NAACP, with Community Action Duluth, with, of course, Health Equity Northland to really push for equal opportunities and health opportunities in Duluth, Minnesota. And we know that this work is not done in a vacuum. To do systems work, it required, and to make systems change, we need to work with community. And this is crucial for the co-governance that we want to see, the strategic partners across the region, right? We can't do this work alone. Elected officials can't do this work alone. We have to work alongside our community members, alongside our nonprofit leaders, alongside every single one of you to make this change. When we hold elected official seat, it's not about us, it's about the community, and bringing policies together for those better outcomes is how we make that change happen. And local decisions can set the example to lead to broader state and national changes. We've seen this with policies such as Sick and Save Team, Sick and Save Time, which started as local initiatives even here in Duluth and across Minnesota, and then now, of course, is a state policy. Local decisions, of course, have that profound impact, not just to impact the locality, but being able to impact the cities it surrounds and then move up to state and national level government discussions, higher level policy discussions. And of course, I'm just honored to get this award as well. My background is in public health, and now I'm going for my master's in social work. And all of you are who I look up to as an inspiration on why this work needs to continue and how I need to ground myself in community. So my ask for all of you is to consistently, and I've heard from many of you today, is already doing this work, but consistently have conversations with your local elected officials and push them to do more on health initiatives. For example, I had a group, Vibrant Streets come to me and talk about what healthy streets mean to them. And together with vibrant streets and healthy hillsides, the zeitgeist, I'm working on a policy right now to have safer streets for all Duluthians in our downtown. And this work it's working with them, alongside them. That's how we are able to really advocate for our community's needs. And so again, push your elected officials, bring them in, advocate for your community needs with them, educate us, and create policy with us. And that's how we can create this co-governance and how we build healthy, equitable communities across Minnesota. So thank you so much, Zazakalakay and Miigwech, for this award. And it was such an honor to be here. And thank you.
Great. Anne, do you want me to go next?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So our next award is the Laura Waterman Woodstock Racial Justice and Health Equity Award. It honors a person or a team who has demonstrated their commitment to advancing racial justice and health equity for very diverse communities, populations, and we could go on and on. I am going to turn this over to Princess Titus, who will give us some, just a description about all the wonderful things that Clarence has done through the years.
Thank you. And I want to start with something that I didn't even put in the submission, but there's a monitors club that Clarence Jones is a part of that started in 1955, where he surveyed and worked with other men in the community to create strategy on all things concerning Black men's health and well-being, and that including prostate cancer. And I'm noticing, just as we have acknowledged so many people who are doing different types of work, Clarence is right now standing alone as the only Black male that's being nominated today. And the reason why Clarence is being nominated, because he's been dedicated to this career of working as a vital intersection when it comes to medical, mental, and public health, specializing in the focus of strengthening the community's connections through innovative partnership to the practitioners of the services that work in the community. He's a visionary strategist and a compassionate leader. He's made a lasting contribution by connecting research to community and building programs that help center equity, healing, and sustainability. Through his work at Human Partnership, which is a host of collaborative initiatives, he's been able to help lead and support a wide range of public health efforts that impact all the social determinants of health and disproportionately impacted communities, and allow those communities that are being served to have voice and actually connect with the people that are serving them. Some of those initiatives have been Partners in Prevention, where we're talking about pain, the diabetes initiative, and applying culturally relevant approaches to that chronic disease prevention and intervention, maternal and child health programs within the Black community, the HATS program, which is Healthy Aging Through Your Senior Years. When we reached out to the Alzheimer's Association and they weren't responding well to the Black community, Clarence reached out to the Berman Institute and Mayo, and we were able to get this study started. And we were able to take the pilot of it to the community to get their permission on how we were going to do it and to get their feedback on that. That's a 5-year study on African Americans and dementia, bringing cultural insight and community voice to research on memory loss and cognitive health. Fostering African Americans in Total Health, which started in Duluth, and his work with Dr. LaPrincesse Brewer from the Mayo Clinic, who's a Black cardiologist. He's brought that to churches in Minneapolis, where church members are able to use an app to track health benefits and making sure they're doing those essential 8 things that are connected to heart health. stroke prevention, and for me specifically, overdose prevention and youth violence prevention, working with the harm reductive model, education, and cross-generational strategies to addressing the opioid and substance use crisis. His work is more than just a collection of programs, though. It is, to me, the blueprint for how public health must involve community. He challenges institutions to go beyond their metrics and into meaningful relationships within community. Because what do we do while we're waiting on the next report to be written? That's where you'll find Clarence. He's lifting up the wisdom and the resiliency of those people that are most impacted. His leadership is pioneering in spirit, and it has influenced public health department, government agencies, universities, and grassroots organizers alike. He's a model to me of what's supposed to be happening when public health is rooted in justice, in healing, and in community partnership. Clarence, I want to hear a little bit from you, as I'm always interested in hearing you. And I want to say thank you all for giving him this well-deserved award. Thank you.
Let me show you my award. Can you see it? Oh, you can't see it because it's kind of clear. Okay. Thank you, Princess. I think this award is for a team, right? And so you just saw part of our team with Princess doing this work. But I want to start off by saying this. I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part and to observe the board meeting. I was very, very impressed, and I think it's encouraging me to be more involved in public health and in Minnesota public health. I started about 3 times, different times, on what I wanted to write, because I was so thankful that someone nominated me, because this work is so important. And as has been said many other times, you know, we're not doing this just to be doing this. We're doing this because we're truly, truly committed. I remember the story I always talk about is when I met Dr. Wendy Hellerstedt at the University of Minnesota, who was talking to me. And for the first time in my life, I understood the work that I was doing was called public health. And once I understood that what I was doing was public health, then I drank the Kool-Aid. It became clear to me how I supposed to be walking and the kinds of things that I should be doing. And that is how we came to our work. Our group is called the Human Partnership, and every man has Hugh and also human. So we work along that spectrum of we work with everybody, trying to make sure that our communities are healthier. And as it's been said, is that my commitment is that we have healthier communities and healthier children. That's what I really want to do. But I also want to say this. There's so many people who are on this call earlier or who are on this call now that have really impacted my work. Miss Sherry Lee, and others. I don't want to start naming names, Gretchen and Princess. I could name, you know, Deborah. You have made my life so much happier. And I am so proud to have had the opportunity to work with you, because it is in working with you that I've been able to fulfill what is important for me, which is that I can definitely leave a legacy of trying to do things to help my community to be healthier. And so with this, I just want to just say thank you, and I appreciate it. And I have nothing else to say because I'm just out of words. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Clarence. Thank you, everyone. So I know we're over, and we are reaching, we have 3 more awards. We have the Paula and Sheila Wellstone Public Health Achievement Award, which honors an individual who has distinguished themselves in public health through an outstanding contribution to promote and protect the health of individuals, families, and the community, and has demonstrated this impact through their career. And I'm going to turn it over to Matt Flory to introduce the awardee.
Thanks, Ann. And I can be brief, hopefully to cede some of my time to Sue, but also because the Star Tribune actually printed an editorial today about Sue Abderholm that says a lot of the things I was planning to say anyway. But I'll be brief. Nearly a quarter century of leadership at NAMI, Minnesota. After that time, Sue is retiring this October. She started with 2.5 staff and is up to 37. One of the most effective and respected mental health advocacy organizations in the nation is here because of Sue. and 24 landmark laws that reshaped education, healthcare, housing, and criminal justice for individuals living with mental illness. I'd like everybody to join me in recognizing Sue Abner Holden. And Sue, would you say a few words and share a bit with us today?
Thanks so much, Matt. I really appreciate it, and thanks to the Public Health Association. When I finished my master's degree in public health administration back in 1980, I was frankly asked frequently, well, what are you going to do with this degree? I didn't think there was actually a great understanding of the wide world of public health. People might think of food poisoning. They certainly think of COVID now. But as we know, it's about the health of our communities, promoting prevention, all three levels, and good health. It's really only been recently that public health has actually included mental health, understanding our head is connected to the rest of our body, which is why this award is so meaningful to me. I think in the area of mental health, it's so important to look at all levels of prevention, including preventing a mental illness from becoming disabling. Preventing suicide is critical, and public health has worked hard to identify those strategies to actually save lives. And of course, as we know now more than ever, we need to focus on the mental health of our communities, especially among our youth. Loneliness is our new epidemic, and we know how negatively it impacts the lives of people with mental illness, but also impacts our health, whether it's blood pressure, heart disease, or diabetes. I will say that it has really been an honor to work on this issue and to work alongside people with mental illnesses and their families. And as we know, the mental health system is not broken. It's actually never been built. And we do know exactly what works. We just actually don't fund it. I will just want to say that, as we all know right now, public health is under attack, and staying silent is not an option. We know that we cannot ignore research, that we need the National Institute of Mental Health and NIH, the CDC, and SAMHSA. We know the impact of social determinants of health and the importance of having stable housing, food, and frankly, Medicaid without work requirements and without copayments. And as public health professionals, we know it's important to research, understand, and address the disparities and inequities in our community if we are to have healthy communities. So I really want to urge everyone to speak up and to remember the well-known quote from Senator Wellstone, "We all do better when we all do better." Here is the award. I know I have mine kind of blurry and it's clear, but there's a tree on the top. And the tree reminds me of one of my favorite quotes, that we are planting the seeds of trees under whose shade we do not expect to sit. Again, thank you so much for this award, and thank you for your work to build a healthy, both mentally and physically, Minnesota for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sue. This is many congratulations to you receiving it. And we hope after your retirement, we hope to see you continuing your advocacy work at the Capitol. So again, thank you. And there's always a place for you here at MPHA too, if you have, extra time. So our next award is the MPHA Student Achievement Award. It's presented to a student enrolled in a master's degree of public health at a Minnesota school public health program. This person has demonstrated leadership skills in the contribution to the promotion of health of individuals, families, and the community. And this year we have 2 awards that are being presented, and now I'll pass it on to Dr. Susie Keefe to present the awards. Thank you.
Thank you. I see we have 2 slides, and I'm just really thrilled to be having nominated, and that these 2 students are receiving this award. I'm going to speak to both of them because I wrote my nomination letter as one letter, but there are, I think, 2 photos, and I hope Lee and Gaosheng have unmuted their camera so that they can bask in the glory of my comments. As Sherry Lee said, I direct the MPH program at St. Kate's. It's rare for me to write a joint letter for 2 students, but in this case, it really was warranted. both Lee and Gaosheng graduated this spring from the MPH program at St. Kate's, and they began their journey as undergraduate public health majors. So they have really established themselves as firmly in our world of public health. They both distinguished themselves over the course of their journey for their academic excellence, their commitment to our community, both at St. Kate's and in the Twin Cities, and their outstanding work in every area they show up to. When I first met them, they were a little uncertain and shy of me as I was the new program director. When I learned they were interested in pursuing one of our new practicum sites in rural northern Thailand, I was thrilled that 2 Hmong students wanted to travel to the northern mountain region of Thailand to their ancestral homelands. What they did not bargain for was that I would convince them to do a really in-depth qualitative community engaged research project for their practicum and turn it into their capstones. And we secured internal traineeship grants so that they could be paid for their work during that time, which was amazing. And they've spent the last year working with me, translating from Hmong and Thai into English, and transcribing and analyzing all of their data and constantly reflecting on what does it mean to be a Hmong woman doing research. And I will say that they regularly shared their uncertainty about this awesome responsibility and their qualifications. And I regularly told them that their superpower is their Hmong language skills and that their Hmong identities did not insert bias into our research, which was a concern for them, but provided deep, meaningful insights and expertise, and that they should view it that way and hold it that way. It's been a true joy to see them both blossom as community engaged in health equity and social justice centered researchers. They worked collaboratively at all stages of the work, which is why I nominated them together, because I really believe that they deserve this together. From everything from the planning to the travel, holding their hands as they launched their first international airplane trip together. We've had so many good laughs about all of their experiences and opportunities together. I will end by reading you the titles of their capstone theses, which we submitted to the Hmong Studies Journal on Friday. So they graduated mid-May and they did not take a break. They immediately worked with me to turn their projects into publications. So Lee's title of her capstone is Because I Am a Woman, Being a Woman, You Have to Do the Most, a qualitative study of Hmong women's nutrition experiences and health outcomes in rural northern Thailand. And Gaosheng's project is titled No Matter What Goodness Women Do, Women Are Not Their Husband's People, a qualitative analysis of Hmong women's reproductive health in rural northern Thailand. I'll end by just saying the Hmong population remains vastly understudied, both here in Minnesota and around the world. And there's real significant gaps in understanding with implications for public health. By engaging directly with Hmong women from multiple generations through their research, both students captured the intricate interplay of factors that shape women's health with regard to marriage, pregnancy, and nutrition. And in this work will have a real impact over time, both globally in Thailand, and I would argue even here in Minnesota. I cannot wait to see what comes next for both Lee and Gaosheng in their professional careers, and I look forward to watching that unfold. Thank you.
Wow, I am so incredibly honored and grateful to receive the MPHA Student Achievement Award, which is right here alongside my colleague Lee Lor. First and foremost, I want to thank Dr. Susie Key for the generous nomination and for being such a thoughtful and excellent mentor. I also want to extend my appreciation to the Minnesota Public Health Association and the Leadership Committee for this recognition. Throughout my MPH journey at St. Catherine University, I've been inspired by the resilience and the strength of the local and global communities that we've served. And it's been such an honor and a privilege to contribute in ways that uplift community health and equity on both local and global levels. Public health a truly collective effort, and I am so excited to continue learning, growing, and contributing in this field, especially bringing lived experiences, narratives, and storytelling to the forefront beyond our local levels. Thank you again for this incredible honor. I will be passing it on to Leelor, my amazing colleague.
Hi everyone, here is my award. I don't think you can see it. I don't know. Anyways, I am truly honored to receive this Student Achievement Award alongside my peer, Gaosheng Yang. Thank you to the Minnesota Public Health Association and leadership community for this meaningful recognition. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Susie Key for this nomination. Your mentorship and belief in me have meant so much, and you have challenged me to grow, lead, and show up with integrity in all that I do. And as a recent MPH graduate and a public health professional, I've learned that meaningful change happens when communities come together to care, listen, and act with intention. And like Dr. Susie Keep said, I have conducted research in Northern Thailand. And so something I've learned was that we must listen to communities instead of assuming what they might need or want. And we just recently submitted our research to the Hmong Studies Journal. And then this awards remind me of why I chose public health, and it is to contribute to healthier and more just communities, and for everyone, and so that they could have the opportunity to thrive. And I'm excited to continue this work and grow, and I'm humbled to be a part of this network of public health leaders committed to that shared vision. Thank you again for this incredible honor.
Oh, thank you both. Thank you all for coming today. A big round of applause to all of the awardees. Thank you so much for the nominators, and just really so appreciative of learning and being able to be with all of you today. It's never too early to think about who you'd like to nominate next year, so just throwing that out. We're wrapping up here. Stay connected, join and renew your membership. For upcoming events, you can register. If you are interested in joining and becoming a leader, please let us know. Contact Shirley or myself or Jenny or Mary, anybody. And there are all the social media links as well to follow and to be part of. So thank you so much, and happy June, everyone. And thank you for coming, and have a great evening. And congratulations again to all those who received awards today. Have a great evening.